Welcome everyone. As always, these videos are completely unedited. There's a massive AI wave that's coming at the moment, and it's particularly yesterday. I'm seeing a lot of LARPs, I'm seeing a lot of scams. All these tokens are starting to look really legit, and it's to the point where it's really difficult for someone like myself who's been in it since 2017 to even be able to tell. So in this, I've got about 10 coins that I've got my eye on. I've got them in my favorite list, and I'll always point out if I'm invested in, because I want you to be fully transparent to the audience, to yourselves. So let's just jump straight into this. As you can see today, there's a lot of market liquidity coming in, a lot of transactions. The volume is $205.59 billion. A majority, it's about a 65 to 70% of that is actually in AI investments. So we're seeing a complete switch from what we have been. And honestly, it's pretty exciting what is coming in this future. So let's just have a look at what I've personally am pretty excited about. Now, the first one is Aether. I posted this at around, I think, 5 million on my Twitter. So make sure you follow me on X. I'll put it in the description. And the reason being is whenever a coin, for me, has a lot of FUD around it, to me, that's a buy signal. Now, there are reasons to why you shouldn't always ignore the FUD. But a saying that I always like to go by, or at least kind of a strategy that I go by, is once I do my own research, I don't look at Twitter, I don't look at other things, and then I invest in that token, or I personally just keep an eye on it. I don't go back to Twitter, I don't look on X, I don't scroll, I don't want anyone else's opinion, because if you aren't basically using your own initiative, if you aren't doing any research yourself, and you're basing purely off these kind of exit liquidity tweets, and guess what, you're the exit liquidity, then you're never going to win. So Ether here has been a consistent, and I mean, it's not a new coin, and it makes me laugh when I say that because it's 4 days old, but in what's going on at the moment, it's old, you know. That's what I call it, established in the AI sort of realm, if you were. So if we go into their Twitter, they've got a decent amount of organic followers, and I've been keeping an eye on this number. I've also scanned the followers, and they've not had any botted accounts. All of their content is pretty consistent. They also post a lot of images, which is good for the general public that want to get into AI. But above all else, it's got a pretty good kind of team behind it. They are doxed as well. And again, in case you guys didn't know, there's a hackathon at the moment, and there's teams and projects that have developed from the hackathon, which most of them actually do really well. And this one in particular has really stood out to me. There's a couple of red flags. Sorry about that. There's a couple of red flags early on for me. And the reason being is they copied a lot of this page. There was some text that was directly linked to other projects. I believe Snay, that was literally the first thing that happened. They copy and pasted it. And it is very similar to what AGIX wanted to do and are doing. Currently sitting at around 160 million market cap. So at early doors, I did hesitate to invest at around 2 mil. Regrettably, I didn't. But that you learn from that. You know, you can't really. I like to see things at 10 million plus to really be invested in it and want to know more. Because what we need to remember is we aren't the smart money. We aren't the whales. We have to go where those things go. And the trick is to get there before anyone else does. You don't want to be last in line. The whole reason what I'm trying to educate you on is get you closer to that initial investors. So let's move on. This one is actually pretty new. I wouldn't recommend investing in this, but it's something I'm keeping my eye on. This is Prado. Now, Prado is a pretty interesting project. Or just skip ahead there. It's not linked. They haven't got anything linked here. In fact, it was made 1 hour 54 minutes ago, but I'm going to keep an eye on this. The reason being is the amount of volume that's being pumped into this, and the fact that it's actually a super clean AI interface and website already. It's actually a Telegram tool. So if we just come down here, I'll just go to find. This is the issue that I'm having. I could not find anything to do with their website until eventually I managed to find a link. Here we go. So this is their website. This is the bot anyway. So it's a Telegram bot, and it basically puts your group chats, your banter into bets. So it uses AI technology to take what you talk about in the group chat and do little soft bets with that. And to be honest, that's got legs. It's an actual product. And at the moment, the volume definitely... I'm going to close some of my tabs here. The volume definitely does not reflect in the market cap. I've also looked at bubble maps and it doesn't seem too clustered. Volume, as you can see here, 16 seconds, 10 seconds, 9 seconds. It's very good. It's very consistent. Slight uptrend coming here. But again, this is too early to do any sort of analysis on. However, at 1.8 million market cap, I think it might be worth a punt. Might chuck 0.1 Sol into it, for example, and see how it runs overnight. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting token. And again, what I look for is actual product. Next up, we're going to look at Seeker. Now, Seeker has done an astronomical pump here. So within the next couple of hours, I'm expecting this to go back down to kind of this support level around the 0.1, 0.2, just because that's where a lot of buy-in pressure is. And that's where the wall is. Okay, so I'm expecting it to dip down. I'm expecting a lot of people who are new into AI coins or coins in general are going to pretty much panic sell. Maybe we could see sort of the, not that I'd want to, about 750k to 900k. But that's not a scenario that any of us would want, obviously. But let's look at their Twitter. Now, the reason why I'm not personally going to get invested in this is because there's a lot of agents coming. AI is big at the moment. There's so many agents. I personally... I'm struggling because it's early doors to kind of navigate my way of what's good, what's not when it comes to these things and what people are actually invested in. I think at the moment, if it's got the word AI agent in, that's kind of, it can easily get to 5-10 million. But the issue is when it rugs, okay? And that's what we don't want to do. From what they're saying right now, they have a decent product. I was looking at the repost stuff on Twitter earlier, and overall, it was a pretty solid kind of product around it. But I did go to their Discord, and this is a big red flag for me. Their Discord has about 1,500, 2,000 members and about 5 people talking. So to me, I'm not a massive fan of that. And again, this is taken from a game that I used to play personally called Kingdom of Hearts. So I would avoid for now. Let's keep an eye on where it goes, see how it looks tomorrow. At the moment, 2.4 market cap, but again, 11.3 million in volume, and it's only 20 hours old. But that is a good flag as well. At least it's not half an hour to an hour. Now, let's have a look at Virus. Now, just as a disclaimer, this is a token that I am personally invested in. Not massively, not overly. And in fact, I did get in around here, just under 3. And I believe it is a decent application. It is slightly bundled, okay? So this is something that I'll do. I'm in this at the moment purely, okay, for the fact that I believe this can get to 10 million just because of the amount of volume compared to liquidity, compared to the FTV. There's nothing really super special about it. However, on Twitter, which again isn't fully the best way to do it, it's pumping a lot of good content. As you can see here, it's kind of a ChatGPT knockoff from what I can see. But I think it's got some pretty good stuff. If we click on Virus here, we can see 86k into Virus at 3 million market cap. We'll revisit this post in a few days. This is by T, who's got quite a big following. Again, let's just take it with a pinch of salt. However, there is a lot that comes from their tweets. So back to all-time higher, plus higher, please. And this is obviously the old butthole coin. There's a lot going on. And I think it could really do something. I think it could possibly take off. So let's just keep an eye on that there. I'll keep you guys posted as well. If it breaks below 3, I'll probably think about getting rid of. But for now, let's just have a look. I might possibly hold. The next one is Nora. I'm not going to speak too much on Nora. I just think this one's going to be a runner. This is the first sort of mental health positive AI agent. It's actually AI therapy. Really good product, fully docs team. There's not really much more I need to say about it. It's already an established app or team on the actual app store, fully developed, fully funded, fully backed. So there's not really much more else I can say about that. So that's Nora. Next up, let's have a look. We've got Chatter. So Chatter is on a very, very steady incline, which is what we want. This here, slow and steady, nice and wins the race. But Chatter is an interactive podcast experience. The website's a little bit ugly, not the best. However, I do quite like it. It's got things to it that I don't really like connecting my wallet. That's always a bit of a red flag for me. And I'd recommend you never do it, especially when something's 22 hours old. Could easily rug. But again, volume is 14.1 million. FTV is 647. Liquidity is slightly low for the volume. However, the market cap, that is pretty high. You know, you're talking 1/6 in the liquidity comparison to market cap. I can see this doing a pretty nice uptrend. I think tomorrow we could probably see this maybe 5 million. But let's keep an eye out. I just want to get through this. This one is one I'm pretty excited about. This is Stoic. So Stoic has an incredible online presence. Stoic has absolutely blown up recently. Look at all this. Crazy. Now, Stoic, the founder, Afan, actually live streams. He's live streaming right now, actually, as we're recording this, to 37.9 thousand viewers. And what he's doing here is he's actually live streaming him coding. He's been live streaming now, I believe, for about 20 hours, and he's been doing it a lot. So I think this has got legs. I think this is actually backed as well by a lot of high-ups. It's just a really interesting product, and not just that, when the dev is there, when it's all transparent, we love to see that. We want to back that, and I'm excited to see where it goes in the near future. So that's that one. Now let's have a look at 2077. This one is a ticker that I personally am invested in. I've been invested in it since about 1.5, and it's doing some pretty decent numbers. Now, the issue that I do have with it, and what I believe is actually stopping it, is it's really unclear as to what the product is. I mean, they do these little challenges. The website's good. I'll show you the website now. The website's really good. You can drag around this little guy. But this is 2024, it's 2025, and it's not too good. The only thing that I think is quite positive is they keep burning quite a decent, hefty amount of supply, which we'll keep an eye on. But again, I think this is going to see a steady rise. Now, let's move on to the next one, which is Size. Now, this isn't the best, but I mean, it's doing the arches right now, which I believe is going to be followed by an uptrend. This is currently sat at 2 million market cap with a volume of 24.4 million. This is only 16 hours old. This is still a sprout. Now, let's have a look at what the actual product is, because I believe that it's got something that's incredible. So what you want to do is you can filter out any sort of chat regarding that particular crypto, and when something is so new, that's what we're all doing. This saves hours. Not just that, but you can bundle together chats, so you can have your whales chat, who can all create a community around your coin for an actual product. And now for the amount of thousands of products that are made every single day on the market, this is something that would save them hours of time and even possibly employees. So I see this going to some pretty big numbers. I reckon this can get to the kind of the 10, 20 million mark, but we're going to be keeping an eye on it. Again, we never really want to just overdo it. We want to be honest and transparent with what we see. I hope you guys have enjoyed